Hi friends, my name is host Eric, and this is my beloved darling Rachel. And together today we visited a local cemetery in Sierra Madre, California, and saw some very interesting graves, and had some interesting observations about what we can learn about the past and people, and the way gravestones are from what they say and how they are. So this was just a background picture I decided to start with. Let's go on to the slideshow of images. So let's start here with Maddie M. McCollum. M. Collum. So it looks like it's McCollum,
It
right?
does look like McCollum.
But it's not. It's Maddie M. Collum. And just in case it wasn't clear, the entirety of her identity is locked up in being Homer Collum's wife. So she did have one claim to fame, I guess. It's interesting what they put on the gravestone. Sometimes they have a little saying, like "I did it my way" or something, and sometimes it's a third party who's said this was my wife's identity.
Well, that's actually okay. Like, I feel like being judgmental, but this is what we're doing right now. I do not want, like, that's a fear of mine that my gravestone would say that.
I like the old-fashioned names here too in this graveyard. There's a lot of others that you just don't see people name things like this anymore. Homer Collum or Maddie Collum.
No, you don't.
This is the one we started out with as a background picture. John O'Donovan died July 22nd, 1915, aged 26 years,
Wow.
native of Cork, Ireland. Rest in peace.
Wow. 26.
Well, and this is one of the older communities in Southern California, I guess. At least outside of maybe downtown LA kind of area. But Sierra Madre was a popular tourist destination in Southern California as early in the 20th century. This is not the oldest grave, but we'll get to that one. So here's a sort of standard Frank Kovacs, 1881 to 1916. Didn't live a particularly long time. Not much to say about him on the gravestone.
No.
Who's Frank Kovacs? Somebody who liked his crosses diagonal.
I noticed that on a lot of 1910 in particular, gravestones were very plain. Like in the 1910s.
Yeah, well, I probably didn't have a lot of resources to invest in fancy gravestones around here anyway, back then. Pretty rural.
Yeah.
Harry Dudley Baker, 1891 to 1922. A very Prohibition era name.
Mm-hmm. That really is.
Very waspy.
And I'm trying to think of how life was in 1891. I can't really.
In 1901 he was 10. In 1911 he was 21. 1921 he was 31. In 1922 he was dead. Luther E. Tipton. He seems like an upstanding fellow, doesn't he? Doesn't his name sound like an upstanding fellow?
It really does.
1862 to 1944. When I see 1944 on gravestones, what I first thought is maybe he died in the war, but not this guy. He was super old. He was over 80 when he died.
Is that settler time?
1862?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably born in Missouri or Kansas or something. Came out west.
That's cool as hell. That's what I like about gravestones from over here is that that time means that they probably were settlers and the covered wagons and stuff settling out west. That's really cool.
Yep. This lady,
Here we have.
like my great grandmother, was born in 1889, I think. She died in 1989. No, maybe it was 79. It was 79. Because I was, she wasn't actually 100 years old. She was 99, but I was about 8 years old, so that makes sense. Anyway, this lady was born in the 19th century, died fairly late in the 20th century. I took this picture primarily because I like her name, Tilly Marie Stimpfling.
That's a name, a last name, a full name that you don't see that much either. Tilly, you never hear that name. Actually, I think it's kind of cute.
As I was saying in the graveyard, it's a good place to go if you were trying to write a story and trying to come up with some names. You can just go take them from the graveyard, from super old graves. I like this one a lot because of the middle name and because it specifies that, God damn it, I may be buried here in California, but I am Southern.
From Mississippi.
I'm Miss Virginia Van Zeel Bowles from Vicksburg, Mississippi.
That's fantastic. I mean, so that definitely, she was an early settler. Wow, that's freaking cool as hell.
Well, right around the turn of the century in Arcadia here, there was Lucky Baldwin's Ranch. And up higher against the hills, above all of Lucky Baldwin's land, that's where Sierra Madre started. Alright, let's see the next one. Fanny de Clark Cox and John Tallman Wheeler. You just don't... These are such great names. Such great literary names, you know. Now, Fanny de Clark Cox, she died in 1933. And I don't know why they're buried together because they don't have the same last name. So, there's no explanation. Maybe...
Would that be her son?
No, because...
No, it couldn't be.
Well, it could be. No, it could be. She'd be 27 when she had him. That's possible.
But why would the last name be
different?
I
don't know. So these are the mysteries the graveyard presents us.
Maybe it was just her lover. You know, they never got married, but they were like early out. You know, because
the thing is, I've never encountered another person who has the middle name Tallman.
Oh, me neither.
It's great. John Tallman Wheeler.
It's great. And Fanny de Clark Cox, that's great as well.
Yeah, it's some sort of weird mix of, like, European Louisiana and whorehouse.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a very pornographic gravestone in general, I think. It's got Fanny, Cox, Tallman, and John in it. It's a very pornographic gravestone. Now, this one interested me because, of course, here in Arcadia was one of the places where they did the holding area or dispatch area for the internment camps for the Japanese people. Looking at the dates here, seeing that he's only 39 years old, makes me wonder if either he died in an internment camp and was buried back in his home in Sierra Madre, or if he died fighting in the war, and that maybe there's not even his actual body there, you know?
Wow. That's...
Mysteries of the graveyard.
Yeah.
This one drew my attention because of this weird symbol. It's like he's some sort of communist archbishop or something.
Yeah, right. It looks like a communist symbol, but it's not from my recollection would be one. I don't think it is.
Now here's the thing also, Rachel, is you see a lot of mother, beloved father, beloved mother, beloved son, beloved sister. It's just friend. Like, what? Whose friend? You know?
So did he not have any other family?
I mean, was he a bachelor, I guess?
Right.
And that's why they says friend. But I think this might be some sort of, like, secret order thing. Like Masonic or Lions Club
maybe.
or
would Opus Dei have a symbol?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what this one is, but I think it's pretty cool looking.
It is.
Louis F. Cordy. And this person is a sister, Mildred Shaw. Now, here's the thing. 1897 to 19...
I noticed that too.
Okay, so probably what happened is the brother died, and the family put in the graveyard for the sister, but then the sister ended up being buried someplace else. That's my guess.
Yeah, because, like, why would they leave that open?
Right.
So the body can't be there.
You'd expect this not to happen with sister, because probably you think, well, family gravesite. But if it does happen with sister, you figure she got married and got buried next to her husband instead. This one is really cool because
wow.
Edward Barkus from New York was a sergeant in Company A2 Chemical Battalion? I didn't know there was a chemical battalion.
Neither did I. Neither did
Oh,
I.
well, World War One. That's why.
Yeah.
I was thinking World War Two. World War One. Okay. Yeah, I guess there was a chemical battalion. Did we have? Was it a offensive battalion or was it just like defending against chemical weapons? I'm curious.
There's so much about World War One that I do not know.
You know, for example, you probably didn't know this, but it wasn't actually the First World War. There were lots of wars all over the world prior to that one.
You are right.
Nellie V. Boyce. I just like the name. Nellie V. Boyce.
Yeah.
Very profound.
Nellie V. Boyce. That is.
Perfunctory, I mean. Yeah. Selma Schnell. 1875 to 1914. Mother. Well, we did manage to impregnate her with one child.
Yeah.
She wasn't a completely useless woman. You know? What do you do if you're not a wife, a sister, a mother, or a daughter? Then you're just, unfortunately, this woman has to be her own person.
See.
Kitty, will you stop bothering the birds? Kitty's trying to put the birds in the graveyard.
Yes, she is.
Okay, so this is another example of these incomplete dates, right? W.G. Leroy, or Leroy maybe, M.D., Dr. W.G. Leroy, or Leroy, M.D., 1838 to 1909, died. Made sure in his will it said, put beneath my name my wife, Roxana, his wife, 1844 through 19, then leave the last two letters there. And then she's like, thank God Dr. Leroy's dead. I'm going to go do something else.
Somewhere else.
And I'm never going to see this cemetery again. So, you know, like W.G. Leroy thought he was going to dictate terms to his wife from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's dead and she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah, that's what the truth of it is. And is my math right? They're 6 years apart?
Yeah.
So that's like
he was 61.
That's a pretty big age gap for that time.
Well, he was 61 when he died. Now,
okay.
Oh, wait, no. He was 71.
Holy crap.
So she was 65 when he died. And obviously, in her remaining years, she decided that like, I no longer want to be buried next to W.G. Leroy.
Yeah.
Here are the Rices. I put them here. Jerome Rice and Evelyn Rice, because they died respectively in 1907 and 1912. Probably, one imagines that the Jerome Rice is the parent of Evelyn Rice because there's 31 years apart between them. However, Jerome Rice could be like Lucky Baldwin, who also lived in this area around that time. He just had a thing for 16-year-old girls, so you know, maybe that's his wife. You don't know.
Yeah,
Regardless,
don't know.
They died 5 years apart, but they were born 31 years apart. Back to Maddie McCollum. Yes, we're at the end. That's it. We're all done now. We went all the way through them.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed our trip to the Sierra Madre graveyard. We actually stopped there because I was hoping to visit the grave of my friend Josh, who died in 2019, about my age, a little bit younger maybe. He came down with some kind of weird debilitating disease, which put him in a wheelchair. You know, like in his 20s, early 30s, he was like in the same band playing scene that I was in. And then got some disease and withdrew from public life, but was expected to live. You know, it wasn't supposed to be life-threatening, but then he got pneumonia or something and suddenly died in 2019. And I thought I'd stop and see if I could find the grave. I couldn't find it, even though it's a tiny cemetery. And I remember where we were standing when we were there. So, anyway, R.I.P. Josh. And all these other people here
Yes,
listed.
absolutely.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
No disrespect intended. It's a fun historical
Yeah.
historical adventure. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.